Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome back to the On the Fly podcast, everyone. My name is Olayinka Famadou, and I'm not only one of the founders, but also president of the Financial Literacy Institute. I will be your host for today's podcast episode, where we're going to be discussing financial confidence. Oh, yeah. Let me quickly introduce my co-hosts. We got Sean Lacey, founder and CEO of FLI. Yep, thank you for waving, Sean. And then we also got Zach Owen, founder and a vice president of FLI. Boys, glad to be back again for our now second episode, which is crazy to think about. But we're really doing this, and we're having fun doing it. But before we get into our topic, I'd love for all of us to go around and share just one of our top highlights from this last week. I know it's only Wednesday, but just one highlight of this last week. How does that sound?
100%. Let's rock and roll. Hey, thank you for the introduction, Yinka. We appreciate it. I would say my number one highlight over the past week, I would say in my auto detailing business, it's really starting to pick up. We served I would say 7 customers this past weekend over 2 days. So it's picking up. We're starting to move, and I'm happy to see it.
That's awesome.
Love it. That's awesome. Same for me. I'm kind of, up in my personal business as well, up in kind of some stock, hoping to get some product moving. But the real highlight was the weather. So I was able to get out to the golf course for the first time this year. I'm a big golfer, so first time out.
Very cool. Love to hear that. Yeah, no, the weather is getting nice over here in Minnesota as well, but no, that's great. So yes, I actually had my mastermind meeting yesterday, first one, and I'll let you know that the highlight for me out of this whole week thus far was last night, but there was a specific moment, I kid you not, walking outside of B-Dubs with the boys, right? Total of 7 of us, 5 of them, like I dab them up, they walk their ways, to their car, whatever, we thank each other, or they thank me. But one of them stays around. His name is Santiago. And I was like, Santiago, what's up? He's like, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, what's up? He's like, Yinka, after everything I just heard tonight, like, can you be my mentor? And I was like, wow. This guy, Santiago, I've known him since kindergarten. And to have someone who's my age, my friend, ask me to be his mentor. I have several mentors. To be a mentor at this age, I almost I walked, not only did I dab him up and he tried to offer to pay me. I was like, Santiago, no, you're my good friend. We're not, it's just, it's a friend thing. And I would love to
That's
be
awesome.
We can set up bi-weekly meetings and stuff like that. Dabbed him up, thanked him. And I told him to text me to remind me. But when I got into my car, my heart just hit a little bit different. I almost cried because this is one of my good friends I'd grown up with. And he's seeing, the transition, what I'm doing. And he saw the passion, the conversation that I had. And he knew I'm going places. So he's like, Yinka, I would love to just, be a mentee of yours. And that hit me so different because I grew up with this guy. So that was my highlight of the week. That was huge. But no, thank you guys for sharing. I love kind of doing the activity, kind of get some perspective on what we're all doing and how we're doing it. But nonetheless, again, the topic is financial confidence. So let's get started. The first question, right? I just want to know, what does financial confidence mean to you? Whoever wants to take it first, go ahead.
I gotcha. I would say, that's number one. That's a very good question. And it makes you think about it a little bit. Like you could easily say, being able to invest well and, turn a profit or hit a certain ROI. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. And I would say to me, financial confidence, I think it involves being able to take what you've learned, but also be able to pass that knowledge on to other people and teach it to other people and help other people gain the knowledge and then grow financially. So, you can know everything financially in the world, but if you keep it to yourself, I feel like you're doing a disservice to not only yourself, but also the people that are close to you. So really, to me, financial confidence is being able to share the knowledge and spread the wealth.
Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. So I got a little bit of different spin on it. So to me, financial confidence, it means what you have in your bank account has zero to do with your financial confidence, whether you're a millionaire
100%.
or you're broke. I think it has nothing to do with your bank account. Financial confidence has everything to do with how much you know, and that that you are in total control of your money, that that money is just numbers, that it goes in and out of your bank account, that there's no fog, there's no smoke, there's no black magic going on with, money's not disappearing places. Money is one of the most single trackable things that there is. So, in summary, it has nothing to do with your bank account. It has everything to do with that that you can control your money and only you. So you're in full control.
So Zach, and I feel like,
Right.
where you're getting at with that is kind of like the financial freedom type of thing.
Yeah.
Is financial freedom is your confidence or your financial confidence.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So even before you can reach, even before financial freedom can kind of come, it starts early, in anyone's financial journey, all the way up to, being pretty financially independent and financially secure. But the financial confidence can come a lot earlier as well. So, high school, college kids, if you're needing to budget, from a pretty, tight income, that financial confidence can mean a lot in knowing where to put the money that you have, how to handle it, how to budget it. So yeah, Sean, great point.
And I want to work off, let's say, Zach's point, right? Because one of my mantras is, long before you become wealthy in your bank account, you must first become wealthy in your mind, right? It's all a mindset. And when you start to unlock your mind and start to understand, yes, the nuances of finance, and maybe you have to develop a passion, of course. But when you start to you'll know when you get your money right, you'll start to walk different, start to talk different. It's so interesting. And we're going to dive into this a little bit later, how it's really, what it's done for us. But another thing I also want to bring up, another one of my mantras, is that competence leads to accomplishments, which leads to confidence. I'll say that one more time. Competence leads to accomplishments, like all these degrees I see on Sean's wall, which leads to confidence, right? And we all know how confident Sean is, right? So all these kinds of things that tie in together, especially with finance, I can even speak as a guy, right? I can't speak for everybody, but let's say as a guy, we are kind of success objects, right? So when we also understand our finances and we move accordingly, it's like, oh, okay, in a society that's run on money, and yet we understand money, so that means we kind of understand society, we build that confidence, we walk and talk different. And again, we're going to tap into a little bit later, but financial confidence really means to me, it's like, that's one thing in my life that I really don't have to worry about anymore, because I'm competent. I have accomplishments. FLI is one of those. And now that gives me that confidence to start speaking it out in the world with FLI, right? Which is what Sean talked about. So I think everybody has beautiful answers. And now I'm really excited to, kind of transition to question 2, because I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. So question number 2 is, I would love for all of us kind of tell one story of that one event, right? And we all know what it is. That one event in our life when you gain that financial confidence, right? So was it like a certain type of, let's say, cruddy job work, or was it, maybe in that work, in that job, in that position, you had to put in sweat equity where you weren't earning a lot of money, but doing that job that taught you something about money, which gave you confidence. And the money wasn't even the issue. It taught you something, right? Which gave you that confidence. You achieved something. You achieved grit, tenacity, which gave you that confidence. So now when bigger money comes in, it's like, oh, not only do I already know how to handle it because I budget and I'm very nice and good with my money, but it's not about the money. Again, it's about that mindset. It's what we learn through that job, that opportunity, whatever it is. Again, what is that one event in your life that helped you gain your financial confidence?
Yeah, great question.
And go into depth as much as you can. I would love to tap into this.
So for me, I've talked about it a little bit before, but the summer between high school and college, I worked a summer job. I built police cars, right? It was a pretty tough, grueling job. So it worked like 60-hour weeks, 12-hour days, 5 days a week, right? And a lot of the jobs were not kind of in a shop. We would travel around and go from police station to police station, building cars on site. So some of these jobs were like an hour and a half away from where I lived. So that time wasn't included, in the full hour of the day. So there were long days, long story short. Anyway, I hated this job so much. Oh my gosh. A lot of the shops we had to work in, like I said, it was summer, weren't air conditioned. I'm crawling around under the car. And the one, moment I had where, I was like, I'm getting a degree. I'm gonna be the guy that I'm working for. People are gonna be working for me at some point. I want to be, the person in management. I was sitting under a car on gravel in the sun. So the shop we were working at wasn't big enough. Only half the car fit in it. I was out in the sun. Oh, it was a good learning experience, let's put it that way. So, I was realizing, I'm putting in work. I'm earning $10 an hour, and as a graduate of high school, that was great money. But the job sucked, and I'm realizing that the guy I'm working for is sitting in his office, and he, has put in the work and put in the time, put in the effort, but he has also created something. He had an idea, he had a niche, and he built upon that to where he was earning more money than I was, doing an easier job than I was. So that's where I gain the financial confidence that if he can do it, I can do it. I have confidence in myself, believe in myself. So if it's something I can put my mind to and do, then I can. So a tough summer job between high school and college that really put my head to the grindstone. So
no, I love that. I actually did not know you built police cars. That's something new. We'll have to tap into that later on. But no, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, Zach, that's a very good story there. And I would say mine is kind of like a split between two things. So it's a tie for first. The first one was when I was in college and I worked for the apartment in Akron. It was a sales and marketing role that basically kind of allowed me to take an apartment complex that was struggling and basically turn it around completely. So with that, I was not only exposed to sales and marketing, but I was also exposed to commission. And I understood that, okay, I get this, hourly wage that is set that all my coworkers earn. But with commission, I'm able to take that and then amplify it that much more. So being exposed to commission was a unique opportunity as a college student because I didn't know anyone else who was making commission. So it gave me something different from other people and a different way to level up financially. And along with that job, I was exposed to how real estate worked, how multifamily worked, and how, dealing with tenants on a large scale. So in the apartment complex, they had over 500 some tenants living there. And like that's more so than anyone I've ever known who's done real estate, like single family houses and stuff. So in that, I had the opportunity to learn how to deal with good tenants, learn how to deal with bad tenants, understand the real estate process, the legal process. And at the time, I had no idea that it was going to be beneficial more so than me trying to make as much commission as possible. But it was kind of a double-edged sword in the aspect that it taught me about commission, but also taught me about the real estate process. And then the second part to that is when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this is something that I'm going to talk about like all the time throughout this podcast, but that book was really what flipped the switch for me becoming someone who, before when I was younger, I was like, I want to be an engineer, but I also had visions of running and owning a company, but I didn't really think it was possible. And I didn't have that confidence in myself to do it. But after I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'm like, this is it. Like, I understand how to do this. And it's not as hard as I thought it would be. You don't have to invent a product or make something that's going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars a year to be your own business owner or to own real estate, stuff like that. So it really broke it down like from a fundamental standpoint and allowed me to understand kind of the intricacies of the process, but also that's something that everybody can do. So in kind of a long roundabout way, those are my financial confidence situations and stories.
Right. That's a good point. With Rich Dad, Poor Dad's a great book. Another one that can kind of play in this financial confidence area is Millionaire Next Door. And one of the key takeaways from Millionaire Next Door is that you can be essentially richer or have more wealth, someone earning $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year than someone who's earning multiple hundreds of $1,000s a year. There's lifestyle acclimation where once you have more income, you spend more money. Is a very real thing. So if you can be good with your money at a lower income, you can by far have more wealth, have more assets than someone who's earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. That book really puts that into perspective, that you don't have to have a ton of income to accumulate wealth. But obviously, bumping up your income is going to be a good assistance to that. But yeah, great point, Sean. Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, two great books.
I agree.
And it's so funny. Yeah, go ahead.
You get started. I think that's a topic for a future podcast episode, is like diving into the books that really changed our lives and that we learned the most from.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny you guys brought both those books up. Yes, we'll dive deep into them, but I just want to make a quick reference, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the #1 book, not only that I started getting into finance with, but delineated for me assets and liabilities.
Yep.
Right. And it showed in that book, again, I won't spoil it, but essentially working for free and just learning how it works is way more, learning how the system works is way more valuable than even earning the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Robert was 10 cents an hour. That's nothing. But he learned skills that were more valuable, or actually he learned what he didn't want to do, which was more valuable than what the money was, worth. Nonetheless, for the second book, Dr. North, Dr. South, right? Dr. North, PAW, well, it's hard for me to say that. Prodigious accumulator of wealth.
Yes.
Dr. South, under accumulator of wealth. Or I don't know exactly. I think it's under accumulator of wealth, right? Like Zach exactly said. I think they're both both doctors making the same amount of money, but one has a different mindset on how to, let's say, spend the money or invest the money. And the other one's just lifestyle inflation. I'm making all this money, so I'm going to continue like I'm making the money, spending the money, which again, all mindsets, all habits, all habitual. But that's another topic for another day. I just wanted to touch on those because yes, also a sliver, but it's huge. I guess it's not really a sliver. For me, financial confidence, all these books I've been kind of, taking in and consuming. But again, we'll talk about that for another day because that one event for me, I'm not going to lie. It was, let's say, junior year of college, right? I'm not only an RA on campus, but I also worked for ZPN, which stands for Zips Programming Network, another organization on campus. But those are my two on-campus jobs. But I also worked off-campus at Chipotle, right? We all know Chipotle. We all love Chipotle. But one of the things that I wanted to do with Chipotle is be a part of their tuition reimbursement program, right? And for that, a student not only has to be a student, right? You have to, be a student for 16 weeks straight, obviously a whole semester, or a whole year, I should say, but also as well work 16 hours minimum on average, but minimum per week at Chipotle, right? So 16 times 16, what is that? 264, if I'm not mistaken. 264 hours per year to get this tuition reimbursement. And what tuition reimbursement is that they're able to, subsidize some of your tuition to essentially aid you in, your school process, right? So I took this opportunity because I'm like, if they're going to give me about $5,260 divided by 2, whatever that is per semester, that's a lot of money just for working on top of how much I get paid hourly, right? Which is great. Hourly is like $12.75. It wasn't bad. But if you guys know Chipotle or just like the fast food industry, you're always on your feet. It's, it's customer this, customer that, which is, it's understandable. But you, even on your break, like your break feels like this because you're just always busy and you're waiting for your break time. And then when it goes by, it's like, oh, I'm already back on my feet. It sucks. Nonetheless, what I chose to do, because I'm already working 2 jobs on campus as well as I'm a student, I sacrificed my weekends, Saturday and Sunday from 5 a.m. to 3. I think that's 9 hours. So I actually worked above the average. 9 hours, Saturday and Sunday, 18 hours for 16 weeks. Do that math. How many hours? I sacrificed my weekends to do this. And I worked the early, graveyard shift. And on Sundays specifically, not Saturday, but on Sundays, that's when Chipotle gets their truck. And what truck means is that they get all of their produce, whether it's the tomatoes, the avocados, the onions, the jalapenos, whatever it is, everything, right? The beans, the steak, doesn't matter. But it's all kind of, you guys probably don't know, but when I worked at Chipotle, the truckers just put it in the center, in the back. They put it in the center of the floor. And we have to now take it and now put it into the freezer, right? Manually. And that sucked. Back was hurting every Sunday after I got off of work, right? So 5 a.m. to 3:30, getting off at around 3:30. My back's hurting. I have, homework to attend to. I have to call my family because I go to school out of state. But I grinded. I'm like, forget this. Or not forget this, but I'm going to be stoic about it. Learn something from it. Yes, this work sucks. And I'm getting paid $12.75, which is really nothing. But it was learning about grit, tenacity, and not giving up and being stoic about it and not giving up because I'm doing the work even when I don't feel like it, right? I would love to, even though I'm grinding throughout the week with my 2 other jobs, I would love to spend my weekends relaxing, maybe hang out with some friends, going out a little bit. I said no. Why did I say no? My thing was I had a goal of paying off my car that year. I pulled out, I think, a car lease for about $12,000, right? Used Honda Accord 2012. Love that car. Still have it to this day. But to me, I created a SMART goal that I wanted to pay off that car by the end of the semester. Within 16, or I guess the end of the year, within 16 weeks, I accumulated about $12,000, not all through Chipotle, again, through all my 3 jobs. And I grinded and I paid that baby off. And for me, I'm like, yes, I enjoyed and I endured within the process, but that destination was great. Paid off the car. That was the goal and I achieved it. But throughout the process and what I learned, what I enjoyed, I'm like, it's kind of like another book, which again we can get into some other time, but it's called Eat That Frog. And essentially what it's about is you want to get the hardest thing out of the way in the beginning. So then it's literally delayed gratification, right? And then within that process, you learn that in comparison, when you get the hardest thing done in the beginning, everything else by comparison seems easy, right? So why I'm saying that is if I'm going to pay off my car, eventually I also want to pay off my student loans. That's another one of my SMART goals, which I'm killing right now, right? Let me start with my car, hit my student loans, and in the future when I purchase real estate, start paying that off, just get it out of the way, right? I'm kind of eating that frog, be it my car, paid it off, and in the process, I learned grit. I learned sweat equity. It was not about the money. It wasn't even about the 5,260. I learned something, right? And again, that competence, learning that gave me accomplishments, paying off my car, which gave me that confidence, right? So that's kind of where I was going with that. But nonetheless, I appreciate that we all share that, because I know when people kind of move and talk different about money, everybody has that one story, whether it's a crappy job or it's even like not having the financial conversation within the household, and yet you're seeing other people doing well. It's like, maybe I can still do that, like Zach did, right? He saw his boss, I can do that too. And you start to learn, gain that competence, make accomplishments, accrue that confidence, right? So I appreciate everybody talking about that question. And now if we can transition to our third question. This question is, has the confidence you have attained through your finances transcended into any other areas of your life? And I would love for you guys to be elaborate, because I know I'm going to be, but whoever wants to start off, go ahead.
Absolutely. I got you. So I would say, I don't know, I've always felt like I'm a above average confidence type person, but it 100% does translate, because if you take the confidence that you get from any aspect of your life, whether it's money or whether it's a job you're working, whether it's a relationship, anything like that, that confidence that you have gained from something else can easily be translated into any other aspect that you need it. You know, maybe you play sports in high school, you gain confidence from sports, you can translate that confidence into your academics or vice versa. But I would say that, you know, gaining confidence in finances propels your confidence in your relationships. It propels your confidence in your work. And that allows you to become even more confident in your finances and start the whole cycle over again. So it's a never ending cycle of confidence feeding more confidence until you're at the point where you're just financially confident and confident in any aspect of your life. So in kind of a roundabout way, confidence breeds confidence. And the more confident people you can be around and learn from, the more confident that you're going to become.
Couldn't agree
exactly more. Yeah, that's a great point. That it's cyclic. It's you know, a vicious circle of confidence. So the key there is to start somewhere. You know, once you can put the time in, put your nose to the grindstone, and get confidence flowing into something, it's gonna work its way around the circle. You know, it's gonna come back. For whatever it is, you know, playing sports in high school, putting your mind to that, spending time practicing, lifting, getting better at that is going to, you know, spill over confidence into other areas of your life. And it's going to teach you that putting time into something is going to pay off, right? So whether that's, you know, whether you can learn that from playing video games, you know, putting time into that, getting better at that, or sports or whatever, putting time into trying to make money is going to pay off as well. Same thing. Time in equals your results out. So kind of same way for me, just kind of the confidence I gained from same thing with Sean, playing sports in high school, you know, putting time into academics, you know, getting good grades, that relationship of putting time in to getting results. Once you have the realization that that's applicable to finances and money, you know, it's a big confidence booster. It's like playing, you know, The Sims, you know, if once you put like a lot of time in, you're like, wow, you know, I got a lot of money for my character, you know, just do that in real life. You know, so it's a vicious circle. The confidence that you take from other areas of life to go into finances, and then the confidence you gain from those finances can carry into everything else as well.
You know, and I couldn't have said that better than myself, but I'll add to that. My thing is, I mentioned this to you guys before. I kind of have a focus 5. My focus 5 in this exact order, even though I didn't go in this exact order, but now that I see it, it would be great if it was in this order. But it'd be faith, fitness, finance, fashion, and then as a man, I guess when you have these 4 in order, right? The females, that's inevitable. It's byproduct. Nonetheless, the middle one, that was finances, right? And for me, that was the catalyst for my confidence. I'm not saying that before I started to understand my finances or get it correct, that I was any less confident. I guess, yes, by metric, I guess I was, but I wasn't not confident, right? But because of finances, right, at the epitome of my question, that was that catalyst that now with my fitness, which I'm hitting the gym consistently every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, which is awesome. My fashion, obviously, an increase in my money has given me an opportunity to invest more in my fashion, which is awesome, right? My faith, me being more, conscious, not of my kind of, money now isn't, I'm not saying it's not a problem, but it's not really though, because I understand it, I'm able to manage it, but that frees up my mind for all these other things where I can now, wake up peaceful and let's say a prayer every single morning because I'm thankful for the position that I'm in. And I'm giving thanks that God is able to flow opportunities, to flow relationships, to flow money into my life because he knows I'm a steward of all of that, right? That's another aspect. And then obviously finances speaks for itself. But then females, right? Again, this is why I say as a man, when you have all those four in order, females byproducts. I don't even need to talk about that. But what I will talk about is what I think is huge, especially when it came back to my finances, right? Because that to me was that catalyst. When you're able, I think, I'm not exactly sure who said this quote, but when you're able to track something, you gain traction. When you gain traction, you start to see achievement. And achievement is the number one thing that makes a person want to double down. And again, like I said earlier, achievement coming from competence, that leads to a confidence. But when I say achievement, synonym for accomplishments, right? So that's that one thing with finances. Let's say budgeting, for example, right? Mm-hmm. I'm able to track every single penny that comes in and out of my checking account, in and out of my investing account, in and out of my pocket. And I'm able to track that. I'm gaining traction. When I'm gaining traction, I know and I'm very competent on what's going in and going out. I'm starting to see numbers go up, which is an accomplishment. And I'm like, wow, I can do this. That's that confidence.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So then I transcended that tracking process into fitness, for example, right? So I have this like app now that I'm very specific with the apps on my phone. So I'm even surprised I allowed this app on my phone. But nonetheless, I allowed this app on my phone so I can track my fitness now Monday through Friday. I do push-pull legs, right? And I'm starting to see with progressive overload, my weight I'm able to lift go up. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say is that finances for me, having tracked it, I gained that traction, which gave me confidence because I gained kind of accomplishments or achievements with that traction, right? So 100% with those 5 Fs, it could be for anybody. It doesn't have to be finances, but anybody, especially I guess men, if we're talking about that last F. But when you're able to find that catalyst for you and understand confidence through that one thing, like Sean said, you should be able to, flow with confidence in other areas because confidence really does breed more confidence. And I love that Sean said that. So super cool. I don't know if Zach, you had a comment there, but
a little bit. So
okay.
Your tracking comment was super accurate. Couldn't have said it better myself. And we can get into that tracking in the budgeting sense later in a budgeting episode. But
of course,
tracking was kind of my my catalyst. So yep. Sean was actually one set me up with a lifting chart. I still use it to this day. Keep making modifications to it. So tracking fitness and tracking financials was the catalyst, the super important thing that allows you to see the results, just like Yinka said. So, and that's the hardest part of budgeting. Like I said, we'll get more into that with a budgeting episode, but it's so easy to set up. I want to spend X amount every month on my phone or on food or on whatever. Mm-hmm. Actually tracking that and seeing what you actually did in the past months is the difficult part. So we'll offer services to do that. We'll get more into that in later episodes. But I wanted to say, Yinka, that was a great point.
And two, one thing I wanted to kind of add before we wrap up this question is that if you don't have confidence, like at this point, that doesn't mean that you're screwed. Because like me at one point, back in high school and even early in college, I lacked the confidence that I had today. And it was something that developed over time. And really, like what flipped the switch for it was when I kind of realized that why do I need to pay my mind or pay my attention to what other people think? The opinions of others should have no bearing on what I do or how I live my life. Mm-hmm. So when I kind of got that mindset in, it was like a whole new world opened up and I could do the things that I wanted to do and have the confidence in myself to do those things. And even if other people thought, that that's stupid or that that's not the way you should do it. When I felt at peace with myself and I felt good with myself, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. No, for real. Yeah, when people start to doubt you, you might start to doubt yourself. But when you can understand that it's like, it's my life, why are they affecting the way that I live? To heck with them. I'm gonna move the way I'm gonna move. They can think whatever they want. And if I trust myself, I trust the process with the confidence that I know I'm going to gain those accomplishments, and I'm going to start moving with confidence. So no, I love that. That's 100% huge, and I think we can all relate to that. That yes, with the confidence that we have now, by no means were we born like this. No, it all came from doing, gaining the competence. Exactly. So I love that you said that, because again, it's not just we're like born like this. But nonetheless, last question to wrap up this podcast. It's not hard by any means. A little bonus question, right? So my question for you guys now is, for the audience out there, right? How can one develop overall confidence for themselves? I know we kind of just, we tapped into that very briefly in this last question, but can we give them a tangible way? Yes, whether it's with tracking things, whatever, but let's all kind of go around and give them a tangible way, maybe something we actually have done or something we haven't even talked about yet tonight. Can we all kind of think outside the box that we can give, that one listener out there that really needs this and can actually use after this episode, that they can start doing right after they, tap out of this? So
I think a good way to do that, like you were saying, tracking. You don't have to start financially. You don't have to start in fitness. Make a to-do list that you need to do for the day, right? Eat the frog, like Inka said first. Yep. Put the hardest thing first on your to-do list, and do that first today. So tracking that and checking those off is going to give you confidence, right? So that's a quick way to start tracking, to start building confidence. It's not as big as fitness or financials. It's easy. You can do it in 12 hours, and it'll help you be productive, and you'll feel great when you can get your to-do list down on paper, get out of your head, start checking things off. You'll feel great. You'll feel confident.
Great answer.
So I want to attack this kind of in the same realm as what Zach talked about, but a little bit different. So, Zach, you and Yinka both talked about doing the hardest thing first every day. I think in the exact opposite. I want to do the easiest thing first every day. I want to do as many easy things on my to-do list as I possibly can, because number one, I'm going to get more done in my mind. Even if they're easier, less important tasks, I'm going to feel like I'm doing more. So that's like the book Make Your Bed talks about. You want to get the smallest or easiest victory out of the way first so you can continue to build on it. And, that can go for your goals academically, your goals professionally, or even, if you're trying to pay off debt, stuff like that. If you attack small things to start the day, you're going to keep building on them. And to segue that into confidence, if you track your goals and you start to see yourself accomplishing your goals, whether they're big or small, whatever, you're going to feel good when you accomplish, you check that off the to-do list, you put a check mark next to your goal. That's going to continue to build as time goes on, and you're going to gain more confidence from that. So, you can look at it both ways. You can look at it as attacking the hardest thing first, or by attacking the easiest thing first and building on it. Regardless of which way you want to do it, I recommend you should read Make Your Bed by Admiral William Mcraven, because that's another one of my books in the top 5. But it talks about gaining confidence, setting goals, and accomplishing things. And those are really at the heart of confidence, is really the goal setting and then the accomplishment, like Inka talked about.
Really nice, Sean. So go get a Post-it note, get a pen, make a to-do list. Whether you put your hardest thing first and it's all downhill from there, or you put the hardest thing last and you can build a momentum and then smash through that, that's up to you. But go get a pen, get a Post-it note, make a to-do list. It'll build your confidence.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny you just said that, Zach, because I was just about to say that momentum, right? Whatever it is, just do something, right? And when you start to just check stuff off, it's momentous. You're going to see, okay, what's next? I want to continue doing this. This is great. So I love that. What I was going to say, and I love that, Zach talked about tracking, which is great. 100%. I believe in that. And I do that. And then, Sean also mentioned making your bed, starting with the easiest thing, just gaining that momentum. I also do that, which is great. I think we all do that. That's awesome. Another thing I have to.
It's in my camera. So
right, 100%. Right. One of the things I'm going to bring up is whether maybe we have listeners out there who might not believe in God. That's okay. We're not by any means trying to put anything onto you. But besides that, I'm going to talk about quickly manifesting, right? And manifesting might be one of those things that it could be woo-woo, but there's a certain psychology to manifesting, right? And I kid you not, these last 2 weeks, I've been implementing what I'm about to say. And I kid you not, everything that's going throughout my day, I can tie it to when I manifested in the morning. And I'll say it like this. If I'm having a rough day or if I'm having a great day, doesn't matter. The next morning, I wake up every single, like these past weeks, the same exact way. Alarm goes off, the annoying iPhone alarm, right? Just get up, get up and eat that frog, just whip my body out, let out all the hot air. It's like, I don't want to, but eat that frog. Everything comparison is going to be easier by getting out of, bed in this cold atmosphere, whatever. But then I tell myself, and I actually verbalize it, I'm going to have a great freaking day. And it's so weird. I say it and I kind of laugh a little bit because it's like in my head, I'm like, I say that. It's like, nah, like you're just saying it. Like my brain says, you're just saying that. My lizard brain says, you're just saying that. But I say it, I'm going to have a great freaking day. And sometimes I repeat it while like doing my morning routine, brushing my teeth, looking myself in the mirror, or I'm starting my car, eating my cereal. Like today is going to be a great freaking day. Like, let's go. Like today's going to be a great day, right? And obviously the day hasn't gone by. I have no idea. But then as the day goes by, it's so weird. It's such a weird phenomenon. And I've seen it for these last 14 days. I've been doing that, and every little thing that has happened throughout the day, I can tie back to, even if it is woo-woo, I can tie it back to when I said today's gonna be a great day. And that even just confirmation bias or, a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, wow, today is actually a great day. And it literally is momentous, right? So my kind of thing I'm telling all of our listeners is if you can, even if you had a bad day prior, wake up, however you wake up, try your best to make your bed, but just tell yourself and verbalize it. Today, verbatim, today is going to be a great freaking day. And you're going to smile a little bit because you're going to question yourself like this, like what? That doesn't make sense. Maybe say it a second time. Today's going to be a great freaking day. And you will see throughout the whole, it's such an easy thing to do. But people think because it's so easy, I don't need to do it. Just do it. And you'll see what happens. Like, I kid you not. You'll see what happens. I'm not even going to explain the certain things I've seen these last 2 weeks because that will be a whole another 20 minutes. But just do that, and that essentially will, again, give you that confidence throughout your day in whatever you do that either today's going to be a great day or I can do whatever I set out to do, right? So, again, I appreciate that we're all able to, answer these amazing questions. Again, the topic today was financial confidence. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. And, we're really looking forward to our next episode, which will be, again, hopefully 2 weeks from today. The topic is yet to be determined. But, again, please be on the lookout for our next episode. And to all of our listeners out there, we want to thank you for listening to On the Fly podcast. You guys have any last remarks?
Absolutely. And Yinka, thank you for hosting. Phenomenal job. Excellent work. I mean, we covered some great topics today. And hopefully by listening to this, you can crack, the code, your internal code of gaining that confidence, whether it's financial or something else.
Right.
But there's easy steps that you can take every single day. And it's like that get 1% better every single day. Because if you've ever seen the chart of getting 1% better every day versus 1% worse, you exponential growth in terms of getting better compared to minimal decay in terms of getting worse. But that's something that you can apply to any aspect of your life, finance, personal life, relationships, and it breeds confidence. Yeah. So like Inka said, accomplishments breed confidence. Just keep that in your mind as you think about what you're going to do tomorrow, how you're going to wake up, and how you can basically you're in control of how each day turns out. And it all starts at the beginning of the day. If you wake up in a positive mindset, you're like, this is going to be a great day. I bet 100% it's going to be a great day. Because even if bad stuff happens, you're going to work through it because you keep that in the back of your mind that it's still going to be a great day.
Yep.
Definitely.
Couldn't agree more.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Yinka, for hosting. You were listening to Yinka, Sean, and Zach, and this is On the Fly podcast. Thanks. Woo.